everybody. How do you like my countdown? I really get pumped after this 5 minutes of music. I hope you guys are doing all right. Let me know in the chat where you are joining from. As always, we would love to know where you're from. We would love to see how international the community is. All right. So let me see. Norway. Norway is always there every week. The most loyal country. Namibia. Well, first time I see Namibia, to be honest. The Netherlands, Belgium, Costa Rica, Eugene from Switzerland, Cambodia, Ghana, South Africa, what is it, SA? South Africa, yes. RSA, this is Saudi Arabia, right? Wow, North America, South Africa again, Hungary. A lot of South Africans. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody. Dallas. Germany, yes. Ireland, Estonia. Okay, wow. So very international once again, like every week. So, all right. So let me start the recording. Antarctica. Seriously, Jerry? You must be kidding. France, India, Bermuda, wow, Nigeria, Estonia. Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right, everybody, welcome to our Thursday DAISY session. I see we have a full house approaching 100. I think we will smash the 100 in a few moments. Okay, let's see. Atlanta, Georgia, Cyprus, UK, India, Thailand, South Africa. So we are very, very international, everybody. And today we have a very, very special Zoom meeting for you. I know I say it every week, but this time I mean it. And this time we have a very special guest. And typically in my meetings, I talk about my approach to DAISY. So what I do when I talk to new prospects, and I told you guys that I have moved away from talking about the referral plan at the first meeting with a prospect. I would rather focus on the fundamentals behind the project. I would focus on Endotech. I would focus at the people behind Endotech and DAISY. I would also talk a lot about the security, which is delivered by the smart contract. Right? So those are the things I focus on. And today with me, I have a person who actually joined DAISY during the pre-launch, just like I did. And we all know the pre-launch was very smooth and easy, right, everybody? So we have gone through the up and downs together. He's also a pace setter leader like me. And he is a great content creator. He is a great online and digital marketer. I think he has more than 30 years of experience, but I guess he can tell us in a few moments. So I would like to welcome my friend, Michael Faust. Michael, can you hear me and see me?
Are you fine, Eugene? Great to be here.
Hey, cool, Michael. Thanks a lot for joining. So do you mind telling us just a few words about yourself and when, well, I know when, but tell us, everybody, when you joined DAISY and how it was for you at the beginning.
Yep, I'm happily married just recently, and basically been involved in running my own businesses now for 38 years. I've been full-time in the home-based business arena for 33 years, working full-time online for the last 20 years and in crypto for the last 7 years. Built large international teams in more than 150 countries. I've owned and founded and managed network marketing companies, developed software for network marketing companies, as far as the startups with consulting to set up their corporate structures. So very diverse background over the last 33 years. I got involved with DAISY through my relationship with Ilya, who I had for about 10 years before this. In fact, we were asked to do the IT development for DAISY when they first came up with the first idea. So we were right there from the very, very start, and love this project, and I'm happy to share more about that as we go through the presentation.
All right, thanks, Michael. Thanks for this introduction. Yeah, when we started DAISY, you helped me a lot, especially with your digital marketing experience. I know you've built a lot of funnels and a lot of a lot of online stuff, and I've been shamelessly stealing some of the stuff. And you've been also creating a lot of content that I was able to use, and I'm thankful for that. So, and I also know you have a very special approach to D.AI.SY, and as far as approaching new prospects is concerned. So you often talk about this venture capitalist thing. So do you mind sharing this approach? And if you have any slides, just share.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Basically, I look at D.AI.SY as a venture capital opportunity, because if we just label it in the trading arena and talk about what the returns are and how much we get per day, how much we get per week, per month, we just landed in the same basket as a million other opportunities out there. And it's when you're doing that, all you have to do is have somebody who actually gives a higher return than you, and you've lost as far as your winning edge. And we're missing the actual enormity of what we're creating here. So for me, I approach this from a venture capital point of view. I'm happy to share a couple of slides. I just need to, yep. Okay. So basically, what do I mean by that? Well, basically, that's what we're doing as a crowdfund community. We're not involved in this to trade ourselves. I have no intention of trading. I have no desire to learn to trade. I basically look for actually real world projects out there that are solving big problems. And that's what I love about this project, that Endotech was existing before D.AI.SY was even as an idea in somebody's head. It's got its own clients right now outside of the D.AI.SY community, and it will continue to be having its own clients in a big public company. And what I say to people is, if you're going to actually build wealth, you want to have assets that can grow in value. That's the equity stock that we get in a project. And cash flow. You need cash flow to support your living costs and then your lifestyle. And so for me, I look for projects, and venture capitalists were knocking on the doors of Dr. Anna Becker when they first started this project, but she decided that wasn't the way to go, because typically venture capital companies want to have seats on your board. They want large amounts of equity. They want to have a big say in the direction you take. And the beauty about us being a crowdfund community is we could say to Dr. Anna, we don't want to tell you what to do, how to run your project, how to develop your technology. We just want you to go and actually fulfill your dream, and we'll bring the funds to you. And as a benefit, we get some equity and we get the profits from the testing and development phase. And there's lots of classic projects out there. I mean, WhatsApp, most of us have used that or do use it on a pretty consistent basis. And it's a venture capital project. And in fact, Sequoia Capital, one of the biggest and most successful venture capital companies in Silicon Valley, they put 60 million into WhatsApp, and that turned into a $3 billion outcome. That's a pretty significant return on their funds. And venture capital companies understand that you're taking a startup idea and turning it into something that's going to be meaningful. And they fully accept that maybe only 2 out of every 5 projects will result in a positive outcome. I think sometimes we have very unrealistic outcomes when we approach network marketing opportunities. We sort of expect every venture to be successful, and if it fails, we immediately call it a scam. And that's not the truth, because in the real business world, not every opportunity that starts with the best of intentions and all the due diligence ends up actually being a success story. The reality is that a large number of businesses, a large percentage, actually fail. We've been very blessed that we're partnering with Dr. Anna and her team and Endotech, who have a track record of success over many decades. Another example is Alibaba, the sort of Asian version of Amazon. And again, a Japanese telecom giant, SoftBank, put 20 million into that, and that turned into a $60 billion stake. And it's interesting, the head of that investment said that he trusted his sense of smell. He went on his instincts, and they didn't talk about revenue. They didn't talk about how much they're going to make. They talked about what was the business. They didn't do it the business model. They talked about the vision. And that's what we bought into with Dr. Anna. We're buying into her vision of creating something that's going to change the whole way artificial intelligence works with the financial industry. Google's a classic example. And again, Sequoia, again, made some great investments, got a 300x on their money. Spotify, a little Swedish VC firm, got an 80 times return. So that's how I see this, that we're helping to venture capital raise the funds necessary for Dr. Anna and Endotech to fulfill her dreams. So when I share that, and I say to people, they ask me, what do I do? I say, I'm helping to expand the community for a multi-billion-dollar project that's going to change the whole financial industry. That's much more exciting and much more significant than just talking about the ROI. If you just talk about the ROI, you're just landing yourself in the same basket as everything else. Just go onto Facebook and look at the timelines of people. And it's boring because all they talk about is the ROI. I don't know. That's why we're in this. We're in this to make money. I'm not shying away from the fact that I'm in this to make money as well. But if I want to actually differentiate myself from the marketplace, don't do the same as everyone else and don't be labeled the same as everyone else. So I hope that helps, Eugene, give you a bit of an idea of what I do.
Yeah, Michael, absolutely, absolutely. I really like this approach, and I think I should adapt it as well in my pitch. So yes, and that was to me one of the main reasons joining D.AI.SY, because we get equity in this company and that is engaged in this highly emerging space of AI. I mean, look at ChatGPT. I mean, ChatGPT has more users than Facebook had after 2 years already now. I mean, ChatGPT just launched basically, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I also saw you, Michael, posted about it on your Facebook timeline. Yep. I think you said something like ChatGPT. This text was written by ChatGPT. Can you guys notice at all? Because
in their first month, they had 100 million users, I believe. And now Tesla's brought their own AI, Amazon's done it, Google's done it. They're all bringing out their own version of this AI, and so that everyone's investing in it. But again, as I say, we're involved in a technology project. We're a technology project, not just a trading opportunity. The testing and development was only part of just that. It was part of the testing and development, giving the AI a chance to learn, and we got the benefit of the product. It'd be a bit like Uber with self-driving cars, for example, and they had a model and they wanted to generate some revenue in the development of that. We got no opportunity to fund that and get some revenue in the testing and development phase. And the beauty about this is we get the ongoing benefit once it goes live. And the same with Dr. Anna and the AI. We get the profit from when it now moves from testing and development into the real world.
Right. And what really impressed me was, I mean, Endotech started, let me share that one. I think Endotech was founded back in 2012. I mean, this was the time when nobody was really talking about AI. I mean, AI to me is just kind of a marketing term, because what it really is, it's collecting data, processing data, and then turning this data into decisions, right? So maybe they didn't call it AI themselves back in 2012, but it's really impressive to see that. I mean, ChatGPT is just starting now, and Endotech was doing AI back in 2012. Can you imagine, like 15 years ago? So this is a real pioneer. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think that it's one of the things I also talk about as far as the credibility of this. People sort of question, why can't we see, as far as the trades, some examples of the real trades and proof that this is actually real. But you've got to take into account that Dr. Anna and her team have been working with banks, institutional investments, hedge funds in that world for 25 years. And those groups are not just getting her advice, they're using her technology. Now, do you think that banks and hedge funds, institutions would consistently, and $1 million private investors would be using her technology for as many as 25 years if she wasn't doing a good job and wasn't competent in what she's doing? So she's not on trial. And that's where we have to take the actual posture that this opportunity is not on trial. What's on trial is us, whether we choose to participate and what we do. Because we've now got 2 years under our belt. We've shown that it's going to actually weather the storms in the marketplace. We've shown that even in low volatility in the markets, when there's less profits to be made, we're still consistently. I mean, 52 weeks in a row. It's funny how people react. The trading might go down 1 week and they, it's not working. Somebody switch off the AI. And it's like 52 winning weeks in a row. Get real. I mean, we've been involved with trading on an institutional level, full-time professional traders, bots that had impeccable records, and we've still lost money in all of them. So to have something that's gone 52 weeks consecutive winning weeks is quite amazing. It's quite a miracle, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I had those questions too. Where are the live trades? Can you show us some live trades? Can you prove that Daisy is real? Well, I know Daisy is real because I've been trading with Endotech directly before Daisy launched. So Ilya hooked me up with the with Endotech, and I had my Binance account connected to the algorithms, and I tripled my money in 3 months. You know, using this leverage strategy, which is high risk, you know, very aggressive, and it could have gone the other way around. You know, I could have lost everything, but I risked, and yeah, it paid off for me. I had to close my futures trading account because they quit Germany. You know, they were not allowed to do futures trading in Germany. That's why I had to go out. But yeah, I had this experience. And also, if you guys go to the Endotech website, you will also see all the historical trades. They are published with a 24 hours delay, so people don't copy, because typically people have to pay for those algorithms. And allowing them to copy for free will not yeah, make them money. This is not a charity, this is a business, obviously. So, and you also mentioned people are not happy with the current AI performance, and I've seen a lot of those comments in all of my groups. I have a few, and you know, considering that the forex market is not volatile at all at the current stage, and we are still getting 2% per week. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize that she's actually trading across commodities and precious metals and foreign currency. So actually quite diversified, which as far as our risk actually mitigates a lot of our risk, because if you're just trading in one area, you're actually vulnerable to just that asset class. So we're very fortunate. We've got actually 3 asset classes that we're trading across. And then people talk about crypto AI, you know, why isn't it performing? And we know, you know, one of the things she shared in Dubai in February was that, you know, they've got vast experience in the Forex and its other asset classes. And they've had also the benefit of talking to people who've been trading for 20, 30, 40 years and grading all that experience. But in crypto, it's a relatively new market. But she's highly motivated to get that right. She knows that to actually successfully get the full value of the IPO, they've got to have everything working really well. So we just have to have trust. And that's a big thing for me. You know, I probably like you, Eugene, you get approached every day with a new deal of the day. You know, there's always, we're the natural targets of anything new that comes out. And I'm thankful for people that actually think of me to approach me. But I say to people, they'll say, oh, we can offer you maybe a better return or a bigger ROI or a bigger reward plan. I say, I'm not interested in that anymore. For me, it's all about trust. We've had enough broken promises, enough expectations that didn't get met, enough companies that didn't deliver. So for me, it's not about the ROI. It's not about the compensation plan. It's about, can I trust this platform? Because it's much harder to constantly go back and rebuild a new organization again and again and again when things don't work out. It's much easier to actually sustain a current organization and basically build those relationships and build trust within your team on a trusted platform. And we actually have diversity, because that's the other thing. As far as diversity, people will approach you and say, shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket, throw your eggs into lots of other baskets. But the reality is we do have diversity in Daisy as well. We've got the actual, as far as liquid mining, we're going to have Bitcoin mining eventually. We've got the Forex AI, and we've got the crypto. We've got actually 3 diversities at the moment, and there will be more as we go along. And again, in a trusted platform where we know the intentions of the people behind it, we know they're competent. The founders have continually shown that every decision they make is to further the interest of our community. You know, they don't make perfect decisions all the time. They openly admit that. And none of us do. I don't. Eugene doesn't. None of us make decisions right all the time. But we know that they learn from the errors they've made. And also, every decision ultimately is always geared to help us in the community get a better outcome.
Right. I was going to touch on the topic of trust, but just because you mentioned liquid mining, I just learned from Ilya yesterday that Bitcoin mining is coming very soon.
Okay.
And we're working on a special Zoom meeting with Ilya as a guest. Whenever Ilya comes as a guest, we have like 200, 300 people joining the Zoom call. So we will do a specific dedicated liquid mining meeting right before they launch Bitcoin mining. But now let's come back to the topic of trust. And I mentioned that one of the reasons for me to join D.AI.SY and build it was getting equity from a company that is very progressive, very innovative, and to me has a bright future. And the second reason was this person right here. I know Dmitry is not very public, and there's only, I think, 1-2 meetings we had with him. Yep. Dr. Anna gives us more updates. She was on stage in Dubai, and she did a brilliant presentation, if you ask me. It was very technical, but it was very interesting. So, and what I started doing, I think 6 months ago, I would focus a lot on that personality, because she is a genius, and she is, I think she's the main brain behind Endotech, right, Michael?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I collected some more details about her background, because before I just had one slide that was mentioning that she developed 20 strategies and people around the world use it. 150 companies around the world use it. And the deep learning algorithms manage more than 1 billion in capital. Wow, this is huge. And what I started showing is this here, because this book, everybody, this is from, I think, 1998 or 1999. So it's from the last century actually. And that's in French. Well, my school French is not enough to understand it, but I just translated the headline or the title of the book, and this deals with Bayesian networks. And Bayesian networks can be used to combine fundamental, technical analysis with fundamental analysis. So already 24 years ago, she was talking about something that will become D.AI.SY in future, right? Because if you read the D.AI.SY white paper, you will see what they are trying to accomplish. So they try to combine the technical analysis. So to automate technical analysis is pretty easy. There's so many trading bots out in the market. Yep. They just work based on technical signals or technical indicators. So if this and this indicator will match, then buy. If this and this indicator will match, then sell. So this is pretty easy. That's just if then, right? But to manage the fundamental analysis, or to automate it, this is a much bigger job, because you will have to analyze a lot more data. You need financial data, you need economical data, you need political data, you need social data, right? Because there's so many factors that play into the fundamental analysis. And this is what they try to automate, right? I mean, this has not been done before, not by companies like mid-sized companies. I know there is this big deep learning algorithm, Aladdin, managed by BlackRock. Maybe that algorithm can do it, but as far as regular mid-sized companies, I don't think that is existing. And that's what they tried to accomplish with D.AI.SY. And again, she was talking about that 25 years ago in her book.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah, and when you think back to her presentation in February in Dubai and how far she's come, I mean, as far as her stage presence from 2 years ago to now, it's quite incredible. But what really fascinated me is when she was talking about the actual visual aspect of they got all these traders in with 20, 30, 40 years experience and got their input. And what they realized is that there's an expression that says there's no substitute for experience. And when professional traders last experience look at trading charts, they pick up all these visual cues in the chart. So it's not just a matter of analyzing historical data and information coming in, but the visual connection from our eyes to our brain also picks up all these hidden characters in the charts. And basically, they were able to actually find that and build that into the AI. So that was one of the major breakthroughs that to tap into what our actual brain and eyesight is picking up in charts, as well as just data. That was a fascinating breakthrough. And again, creating things that have never been done before is never easy, but that's the edge they're going to have in the marketplace, and the value that what it's going to place on the IPO value of the company is very significant.
Yeah, I agree. And I was also impressed by her vision to give regular people like you and I, regular retail participants. I don't say investors on purpose. I know we will be able to use that word very soon, but to give access to retail participants to these technologies, to this endotech trading algorithms, because endotech is only allowing institutional clients to join their trading strategies. You have to be.
As far as the heart of Dr. Anna, I think it really illustrates the heart of Dr. Anna and what she's for. And that's, when we were first looking at this, I mean, we, like you, about my business partner, Chris, who's offshore licensed funds. He's ran trading teams and managed offshore licensed funds. And he's been the one that does all the due diligence on different trading opportunities. And he was doing a deep dive into Endotech before we even knew it was D.AI.SY, was actually attached to it. And his due diligence turned up, the outcome of that due diligence was the fact that we had great faith. But you had to have $1 million minimum to be involved with Endotech and pay $125,000 fee. And we talked to some people who'd done that, and they were really impressed with the results. So to think that now everyday people like us can take advantage of something that was only available to the top end of the town. But that was one of her one of the first Zooms she did. She says, I could have been funded by all these big venture capital companies, but I made it available for the masses. And I was tired of making money just for the top end of the town. I wanted to actually bring money back to the everyday people.
You're right. I mean, yeah, I was really impressed by this interview when she said, I want a small guy, to join our trading algorithms and enjoy the profits that typically only the accredited investors would see. So let's switch gears for a moment. I know you have known Ilya for longer, even before D.AI.SY. I met Ilya through D.AI.SY. So do you mind sharing how this D.AI.SY journey started for you? Because you talked to him before D.AI.SY launch, and he even asked you if you can assist D.AI.SY.
Yeah. Basically, as far as in Thailand where I live, I'd met Ilya here in Thailand probably well over 12 years ago, more, through a mutual friend. He flew to Australia to meet me when I was living there in Australia, and we got to know each other, and we met several times. My business partner Chris had also met with him, and in September 2019, if I'm correct, or 2020, the year before D.AI.SY started. Basically, they rang me in September to ask us to do the IT development. Ilya had said that his business partner, Edward, had been trading with Endotech, and they wanted to develop a network marketing company that would leverage their trading technology. It wasn't about funding development of AI. It was just an opportunity around the existing strategies. And we basically said, tell us what you want to do, and we'll basically we'll give some numbers back of what it's going to cost. And they came back and they talked further with Jeremy at that stage and moved to a smart contract basis. Our development team doesn't do smart contracts. So I just basically wished them well and didn't really think anything more of it. I said, Ilya, keep me in touch. It wasn't called D.AI.SY then. I didn't know what was called, but probably like you, Eugene, I started hearing everybody talking about D.AI.SY around late November that year. And I wasn't really looking for another opportunity, to be honest. So, we had our own private projects, and it was like, I didn't want to do another one. But when everybody's talking about it, I thought, well, if I don't tell them, somebody else will. So it was funny. I rang up Ilya and I said, Ilya, do you know about this company called D.AI.SY? And he said, Michael, that's what I told you back about a few months ago that you want to do the IT for. And I went, oh, okay, no worries. Well, because I'm out of relationship or looking to steepen. That's how most of us get involved, out of relationship. And then basically I rang my business partner, Chris. He's been my best friend for 13 years, my business partner for the last 9 years. And I said, extremely competent in the financial world. And I said, do you know Endotech? And it just happened he'd been researching Endotech for the previous month. And then I rang a third person who was, as far as a trader, a big time trader. And he was trading $1 million with Endotech, and he gave thumbs up. And the cruncher was, we're in a brand new cafe, as I tell the story a lot, and we turned the menu over, and it was called the D.AI.SY Cafe. And I thought I had 3 ticks and a menu told me it's Daisy Cafe. That's a sign from above. I should look at this deeper.
Cool. Interesting story. I also like the story of Edward, how he came up with this idea of connecting a smart contract with the DAISY trading algorithms. Well, I don't know if it was all his idea, but connecting Endotech to the smart contract, I think this is his connection. He connected Endotech.
Yeah,
he had the connections with Endotech.
Correct.
Yeah. So
I mean, basically, Ellie and Edward had worked very closely for a number of years. Edward had been, had known Dr. Anna, had been leveraging her technology, and obviously networking experience and the business experience of Jeremy. So that recipe together, and you've got three very different personalities, but that's the actual blend of talent. And that's what you want. You don't want people who are going to all offer the same thing. You want to actually, as a complement of talents. I mean, my business partner is exactly the same. He's not a public person. He's more in the background, more in the engine room. I'm more the 50,000-foot view person driving the opportunity to the end. And I think it's good to surround yourself with people who bring a value to your relationship. And that's what we've got here as well. You see Ilya, who's the very logical, very rational, East Russian background. They see things. And you've got the very, as far as the heartfelt nature of Edward, and you've got Jeremy with his mind that's just spinning of ideas from the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to bed to when he's dreaming, he's dreaming ideas.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ilya is the least emotional because they tried to make him cry on stage in Dubai.
Not possible.
Not possible. I mean, Jeremy was crying on stage, Edward, but Ilya, I guess, will never do it. Anyway, I think for the new people on the call, I don't even know if everybody knows about the current model. This model will migrate into something new in future. I think we can touch on that as well, just briefly. But let me first explain how you get into DAISY. So DAISY has a so-called tier system, right? So you always start with tier 1, which is $100, and 50% will go into trading. So, and since Tron has raised the energy fees, so you have to have a lot of Tron for one transaction, they have combined the first 2 tiers. So now you go in with crypto and Forex. So you buy 2 tier 1s at once. And this way you save energy cost and you get exposure to crypto, because since Forex is more stable than crypto, people tend to go to Forex only. And this approach will help people to get exposure to crypto as well. Crypto is more volatile, we all know that, but to me, there is a lot more upside potential than in Forex. So you go in with tier 1 plus 1, you pay $200, and then tier 2 is $200. And with every tier, the price will double. And starting with tier 3, instead of 50%, 70% will go into trading. And this is also the tier where you start getting Endotech shares. So you can still get those shares in the crowdfunding model, in the current model. And once we move over to the hedge fund model, we will not be able to get those shares from those tiers. There will be still opportunities to get shares for different pools, but not from your contribution. Okay. And the tiers will double until we get to tier 10. And by the way, you can buy every tier multiple times. But once you reach tier 3, you will be able to buy a so-called momentum pack. And a momentum pack has the advantage that 90% will go into trading. And you can buy 1 momentum pack on tier 3, 1 momentum pack on tier 4, and starting with tier 5, you can buy as many momentum packs as you want. And this offer is limited, only available until end of May. I don't know if that will be extended, if there will be a delay in hedge fund. Would you know, Michael?
Yeah, I think we have to always understand that with changing legal states and as far as compliance and regulation is, what they've said is there may be a small variance, in the month of June. It might be, early June, it could be late June, it might be a little bit early into next month. I think, we just have to be patient and understand that if there's anything's actually delayed, Basically, it's going to be for very good reasons, but they're on track from what they've been telling me, that they're on track to go live sometime in June. But again, we'll know closer to the end of May.
Well, it's a very complex project, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
IT is involved, legal is involved. I mean, there's a lot of paperwork.
Well, if you think about the actual global environment now, with banks going under and large crypto organizations going under, as far as the regulatory environment is rapidly changing in the EU, in the USA, all around the world. I mean, every country's got different regulations. So to set up something that's going to actually offer something to as far as a global audience and be compliant in many jurisdictions, it's not an easy thing to do.
Right. And not even the founders know yet how exactly the hedge fund will look like. We had a big Q&A last week with Ilya, and there are still a few open items. But one thing that people always ask, will the trading be impacted? Will it change with the hedge fund?
No.
So the answer is the trading algorithms will not change. So we don't know how the trading will look like as far as results, right? But the algos will not change. And what you see here is the historical weekly performance. So we used to have 4.4% on every week in average, but now the average has gone down, I think, to 3.5. And we all know why, because there is no volatility on the Forex market. So the weekly performance has gone down slightly. But considering that there's no volatility, I still think those are great results, especially if you guys compound. I mean, last week we had 1.72, but if you have compounded for months before that, you might have seen I don't know, 10%, even more. So those people who compounded from the beginning, last week they saw 16%, everybody. So that's not shabby at all, if you ask me. And yeah, the monthly average, I think, is currently at, I don't know, is it 17% or something?
Yeah, it's around 17. I mean, the most important thing to note is that the legal status of how the funds are held is really the only thing that's changing. You know, the ability to get access to the same trading technology hasn't changed. The ability to compound your profits hasn't changed. The ability to actually withdraw your profits hasn't changed. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. And to me, I think I mentioned that in some of my previous sessions, but to me, the regulatory approvals and the licensing is not important at all, because here we are secured by the smart contract. I mean, let me give you an example. The FTX exchange was fully regulated. It was licensed. It was endorsed by the authorities. It was even endorsed by the World Economic Forum, right? So what was the end result of this? Now those people behind FTX have all our personal data and can do whatever they want with that, just because they had to do KYC and AML, right? So this was the result of being fully regulated and fully licensed. So, and well, for some people it's important. So if it's important to you guys, then you will have 2 layers of security with the hedge fund. We will still have the smart contract, and we will have the legal framework.
The only difference is with the hedge fund will be the only option if you want to enroll new people and you want to add additional funds. But if you just want to leave your existing funds to continue to grow without doing KYC, then you can stay in the current model as it is.
Yeah, and people often ask, do I wait for the hedge fund before I join D.AI.SY? I'm talking passive people now. And my response would be, obviously, if you don't want to go for the different tiers, and if you don't want to have Endotech equity, you can wait, right? But you will miss out on, I don't know, 6 weeks of trading results, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, the benefit of getting trading results over that 6 weeks could be much more than potentially what you might gain in not having to pay gas fees. So I think it's getting your funds in early, and the equity. I think we undervalue the potential value of the equity as well. I think that's going to be huge when you're thinking about the technology she's developing. And again, she's not going to list this until she knows that everything is working exactly as she wants it to, and that's only going to drive the value up and up. So don't be anxious about, oh, why haven't we listed yet? It's better that we list when the value is at its peak, and the market is heading in the right direction, and the AI is working exactly as she dreamed it to be.
Right. As far as crypto, yeah, I mean, it's volatile, obviously, but again, at the beginning of the meeting, I mentioned that I've been trading with Endotech directly, and I saw what they are capable of doing. And here with D.AI.SY, it's a totally different story. Now, Dr. Anna obviously has a lot more responsibility for people, like 200,000 people relying on her to make this a success. When I was trading with them directly, it was just me, just was my account. But here, 200,000 people are connected, or 200,000 accounts, let's say. So it's a different game. So she has more responsibility.
It's interesting. She actually shared in Dubai that the challenges of the crowd fund versus a VC model. If you had a VC, they would have just said, look, here's the money and tell us when you finished it. Whereas in this situation, we've got 200,000 plus people who are constantly every day almost actually giving an opinion and asking how it's all going. And that's a lot more stress on her part, and the responsibility, that if things didn't go well, there's 200,000 people who are going to be out there looking for answers. So that, but that's, again, it's about trust. She's built up incredible trust in the industry over 25 years. And she's shown that she's front and visible. I mean, she didn't have to be front and visible the whole time. She's busy actually developing the technology, but she shows up at the event. She's on regular Zoom. She's giving us constant feedback all the time because she knows the importance of the community, and she values the community as well.
And here we have this unique combination between trust. So we have big trust in Dr. Anna, and we have this totally trustless blockchain, right? Yeah. Which is interesting. Obviously, if the funds go out of the smart contract into the centralized exchange accounts of Endotech, this is outside of smart contracts. It's not secured by smart contracts anymore. But this is where the trust kicks in that we have in Dr. Anna. And as far as the marketing model, all the referral commissions are distributed by the smart contract automatically. And we know upfront how much money is going into the referral program, into the crowdfunding and the trading, right? Everything is known upfront, and everything is transparent, and everything can be verified on Transcan. So this unique combination between Endotech, Dr. Anna Becker, and the security given by the smart contracts, I think this is very, very unique. All right. I think before we start the Q&A, let me explain how to join D.AI.SY. If we have new people here on the call, you guys need a Tron Link wallet. So there is many wallets you can use actually, but Tron Link is the one that is the most recommended. So all you need to join D.AI.SY is a Tron Link wallet. You will need USDT to buy the tiers, and you will need TRX to pay the blockchain fee. So I would recommend you guys have 200 USDT on your wallet to buy the first tiers, tier 1 on crypto and tier 1 on Forex. And I also recommend to have 700 to 800 TRX on your balance. You might not need all of them, but just to be on the safe side, reserve 700, 800 TRX for every transaction. And the way it works, so we join with our wallets. We contribute money to D.AI.SY, and D.AI.SY would distribute the funds automatically. Some funds will go to the referral system, some funds will go into trading, some funds go into the AI development. And once D.AI.SY has generated some profits for us, those profits will come back to the D.AI.SY smart contract and will be sent back to the individual wallets. So you can withdraw your profits from Friday to Sunday if it's Forex, and you can withdraw your profits every day if it's crypto, and everything will be visible on Transcan. So you can verify everything on Transcan. Yes, so joining D.AI.SY is as easy as 1, 2, 3. You need a TronLink wallet. You need to top up your wallet. As I mentioned before, 200 USDT, 700 TRX. You will need a registration link because this is a invite-only opportunity. And then you just buy your tiers one by one. You cannot go straight to tier 5. First, you need tier 1. So both tier 1s, crypto and Forex, and then tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and so on. And before we move on to the Q&A, the disclaimer, that's very important, everybody. So right now, we are part of a crowdfunding platform. We help Endotech to develop the AI 2.0. It's not an investment opportunity. Once we move to the hedge fund, we will be able to call it an investment. We will be able to use a totally new language, the hedge fund language. We will talk things like assets under management. We will talk things like principal, profits, ROI, all those things we can talk in future. But yeah, today it's crowdfunding. We talk about contributions and we talk about trading rewards. So that's something that we should mention whenever we approach new prospects.
Yeah, it's very important, the language you use, that you are not putting funds in a capital account. You're not putting capital into a trading account or a broker account or exchange account. You're giving a contribution to the development of a technology. No different if you were giving funds to Uber or to Airbnb to develop their model. You know, you don't have any say in how they use the funds. In this situation, it's just developing the new AI, and they're putting it into a testing and development fund for the AI to learn. But as a byproduct, we get a share of the profits that are generated in that testing and development fund.
Yeah. Well, I would really encourage you guys to be compliant, because if you are not compliant and use language that is not compliant with the current model, then we put our D.AI.SY on risk, right?
Yeah.
So before we go to the Q&A, anything else you want to mention, Michael?
No, I said just basically, you know, the theme of this was, you know, why D.AI.SY in an ocean of opportunities. And as I think we've clearly illustrated, that it's about the trust in the people involved, but trust in the fact, as far as a blockchain smart contract model, that we know that all the outcomes that were promised are executed by a smart contract, independent of emotions or people's actually personalities or behavior. But the people that are managing the funds and the development are people with vast experience, decades of experience, being in very trusted positions, developing technology for the biggest end of town. And so, you know, that track record should speak volumes, and the track record of D.AI.SY. I mean, this is the biggest and most successful crowdfund in the history of crowdfunding. You know, hundreds of millions of dollars has been raised, and hundreds of millions of dollars has been paid out back to us, the community. And people's lives have been actually dramatically changed. I mean, you know, we've seen the fruits of that. And what I would say to you is, what an exciting time to be involved right now. You know, that this is the first project that I've been involved in 33 years full-time in home-based industry, where I actually get ownership of equity of a public company. First ever. And to know that I don't have to worry about actually withdrawing my funds, that if I put a withdrawal on the weekend, it's there on Monday. And if I bring someone into the opportunity, I'm being paid immediately up front. And on the back end of this is the great thing about this, that everyone talks about passive residual income. It's generally a myth. It's very rare to have true passive income. It's usually active passive income. But with this, as people gradually compound their profits at the back end, the performance fees being deducted, and every 6 months, generally their account for most people is going up, is increasing. So our actual income is growing and growing and growing for the same amount of money that they initially put in. They're not having to put more money in to get a bigger result. So this is one of the few opportunities where you continue to get paid again and again and again, even if you didn't do anything more. But probably let's move to a bit of Q&A before so we can wrap things up. Eugene?
All right, all right. Yes, good idea, Michael. So I already see the first question here in the chat. So let us know, everybody, if you have questions, use the chat function. I will also allow you guys to unmute if you want that.
So maybe to address the one that the fundamental is that at the end of May, we move to a crowdfund. It doesn't mean the DAISY project stops. It means that the testing and development phase of this project stops. Does that mean Dr. Anna Becker and her team are going to stop developing? Of course not. They're going to be constantly developing and improving the technology all the time. It's just that it's like said, developing the Uber Airbnb model. There's a stage where you're developing the model and you eventually go to market, but they didn't stop actually refining the model once they went live to the public. So the same here, nothing's going to change except who holds the funds. And there'll be two systems running in parallel. There'll be the hedge fund model and the current model. The only difference is in the current model, when we move to this next phase, 2.0, you won't be able to add any more new people or add any more funds. The hedge fund is the only model that you'll be able to add more people and add more funds. And they'll run it in parallel with the same genealogy. So you just get to choose which you want to participate in. You can stay where you are and decide not to put any more funds in and just stay as part of the smart contract with just your wallet address, no KYC. Or you say, I want to put more funds in, I want to keep referring other people, then you will need to participate in it as far as the hedge fund model.
Right, right. Yeah, with the hedge fund model, you will be able to go straight to the amount that you would like to contribute. You will not have to go for the different tiers. And I think the minimum is something that they're discussing right now, but yeah. I heard something between $500 and $1,000. What did you hear, Michael?
Yeah, around that level. And that's very low for a hedge fund. And understand that as far as lock-in periods, there may be some minimal lock-in periods, because remember, if you put funds into normal hedge funds, there's normally lock-in periods. There's normally a certain amount of money you have to put in or above that. So let's wait. I mean, it's in their interest to do everything possible to get as many people involved as they can, but they still have to meet the regulatory rules that are set out in all the jurisdictions, and every market is different. So please be flexible on that. Don't, change is the one constant, and actually being adaptable. And we're in an exponential technology age right now, and we're also in an exponential change in terms of regulation around the world in terms of the financial industry. So be flexible. Don't just expect things to be stuck in concrete and what they said 90 days is gospel forever. Understand that they will have to make actually adjustments along the way, because at the end of the day, a lot of people have an us and them mentality, sort of the project versus me. And it's sort of almost like a competition sometimes. Understand the project always comes first. As the owners and people are actually responsible for the project, they have to protect the interests of the project first, because if the project goes under, we all lose. So it's really critical to understand that they're always got that responsibility, Dr. Anna and her team and the founders, of making decisions that protect the integrity, the actual legality and compliance with the regulators of this project. And that may not always be what you would like or actually agree with, but it's for the best interest of the project.
Right, right. I just received a personal message here asking if there will be a chance for people to combine multiple accounts into one to do the KYC and on the hedge fund, obviously. So, and I talked to Ilya on that one. He said they're looking at a feature that will allow people to combine all their accounts into one, migrate it to the hedge fund, and then do KYC on that one account. So Arash, feel free to unmute if you want to.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. I just recently joined this great, amazing program. I'm at tier 4 now, but to be honest with you, I don't know how many shares I have. Can you be clear on that? That you told me after tier 3 and 4, we're going to be having a share in that FinTech company. So how much would that be? How many shares would that be?
So basically what they do is 5% of the total IPO is put aside for the general community. And based on the number of tiers you have and the higher the tiers, the amount of shares of that share. So now as at tier 3, you can see you get 1 share. It's 1 share unit. At tier 4, you get 2, and it doubles each tier. Now, at the time of IPO, they'll total up all these share units, and they'll divide the 5% of equity in the IPO by all those number of units, and then basically give an actual value to that. And of course, if you become a Pacesetter Gold or a Pacesetter Leader, there's additional a 5% there as well, and an additional 2% for Pacesetter Leader. So there's actually a total of 12% available, but we don't know what the exact value that's going to be, because we don't know the value of the IPO and what that'll be. But just understand that once we get to listing, that's how they'll do the calculation. They'll just add up all the tier allocations that everyone's got, all the share units, and divide the total value by that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. So you mean I have 3 shares so far, and the value would be, determined later on?
Yeah, it'd be your 3 units of the total collective, and whatever that works out at. Whatever. And how that will be issued, again, they'll release more details close to time. I mean, the IPO may not be till 2024, 2025. So it's a while off now, but know that they're going to develop the NFT. If I'm correct, Eugene, it's going to be an NFT to show that you actually own your shares as well.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Somebody's asked about, as a developer, can you edit the smart contract? No, you can't. No, it's not for you to develop. It's not for you to actually play with. You just basically put your funds, as far as contribution towards the crowd fund. You don't have any opportunity to basically do any edits to the smart contract.
Yeah, they can add new proxy contracts. If there is a new feature they want to implement, they will design a new proxy contract, but the core, the original smart contract cannot be manipulated. I received a personal message again from Georgie. What's the update on the next event in Dubai? Is the system okay to take registrations? Yes, just go to limitless2024.com and buy your ticket, paying with USDT TRC20. You can use the same wallet that you used to join DAISY, just connect it, and just buy your ticket.
There's a question here, what about the USA? I'm not sure what specifically you're asking about the USA is. So if you can maybe just actually clarify that question. Kenneth?
Well, I think the question is related to US participants, if they will be able to join the hedge fund.
Yeah.
That question was discussed during the Q&A last week, and what Ilya said, people from the US can join the hedge fund, but they have to be accredited. This is the current stage. I don't know what you heard, Michael. It might change. I don't know, but currently,
I mean, we won't know more until closer time. But we have to actually abide by as far as the regulations in each jurisdiction. In the US, you have to be an accredited investor, which means you need to have the education about how to invest and things like that. I don't know all the exact rulings, but you can actually Google it. But obviously, the reality is that they won't be able to bend the rules if they want to actually have a regulated, licensed hedge fund. It's got to comply with all the rules.
Is it a good thing for someone to buy a crypto package now? Well, I don't think we can give financial advice here.
No,
but
I think you have to make your own personal decision. But what I would say is, do I have confidence that Dr. Anna will get the crypto trading AI working as well, if not better than the Forex? In time, yes, I think she will. I got no doubt. I mean, she's highly motivated to do that, and she has every reason to do it.
Can we deposit 100% fund in new model? There will be, the referral model will remain. It will slightly change. So they are looking at upfront commissions, but
I think they said on one of the Zooms, it was somewhere between the 70 and 85% mark. But basically, the more you contribute, the more funds will go to it. But again, they haven't locked in concrete what the minimum amount is and what those tier levels are. Not the funding tiers, but basically, at what amounts will give you a higher ratio of funds going into trade. So
Right.
Let's wait for the information. But it's somewhere in the 70 to 85 range was what they were talking about. But again, that's not locked in concrete yet.
The last one is for you, Michael.
Chance to buy tiers after
No,
the
no.
hedge.
Hi,
No,
Michael.
there's no more tiers when we move to the hedge fund. That the actual tiered model of the crowd fund ends when we move to the hedge fund. So I said, if you stay in the existing model, all that means is your funds will continue to be traded. You'll be able to compound, you'll be able to withdraw profits, but you won't be able to add any more funds or be able to refer anybody. It's only the hedge fund model that allow you to contribute more additional funds and bring new people into the program as well.
So technically, it's not possible to combine multiple tiers. The only way to combine tiers was tier 1 crypto and tier 1 Forex. They cannot combine tier 1 Forex and tier 2 Forex.
Yeah.
Because there's different matrices involved, right? Because every tier will give you access to a different matrix, and you cannot combine matrices, in one transaction.
And in the new model, there won't be any more matrices. There won't be 10 matrices. It'll be a much more simpler referral model, because obviously we want to attract the general public and also the institutional investment, and they'll want to see a model that's much more simpler and less network marketing orientated. All the back end will still be the same. You'll still get, as far as your unilevel bonuses, as the 6 monthly performance fees come out and the withdrawals are happening. And so there'll still be a good passive residual earning ability from the back end. But on the front end, we don't know the exact model, but it'll be more like a unilevel affiliate style model on the front end.
Right. Well, can you take this one with the lingo, because you did a great job in explaining how the lingo will change on the new model?
How the lingo, or sorry,
the terminology.
Repeat the lingo you showed when I asked what to do. Shared on helping build the community. So basically, what I say to people, what I'm doing is basically I'm helping to expand the community of a multi-billion-dollar project that's funding new technology that's going to change the financial industry. So think about that. What are we doing? We're involved with a multi-billion-dollar project, and we're helping to fund and grow the community to develop technology that's going to change the financial industry. Because this is not just about a trading bot. We're not trying to create another trading bot. We're creating a whole new level of artificial intelligence that will be leveraged across the entire financial industry. So that makes it actually quite significant. Whereas we're just talking about another trading bot or just about ROI, we're just going to land ourselves in the basket of everyone else. So I hope that addresses that question.
Yeah, so as far as the terminology that we will be able to use with the hedge fund, we will be able to use words like investment, capital, right? Principal. What else can we say?
Yeah,
things like this today. Yeah,
you won't have to register separate. Basically, as far as the genealogy will stay the same, and they'll that the whole process of participating in the hedge fund will be reasonably seamless. It probably would just be some buttons in your back office that you'll be clicking on to migrate funds across hedge fund. But understand there'll be KYC requirements. So we don't know, Eugene and I don't know the exact process, but they're going to make it as seamless as possible. But it's not like you have to rejoin again. You're basically, the genealogy is going to be staying the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have referrals in the old model, they will stay with you in the new model. They will not go anywhere.
Yeah.
But people still can choose not to migrate, but just go ahead and create a new account in the hedge fund, and then they can change their sponsor, obviously. But if they migrate, then they stay with you. Yes.
Yeah. And someone asked, can you migrate into the hedge fund at any point in time? Yes, you can. There's not like if you don't join June 1, you miss out. It's basically, it's always available to you. So at any stage, you can choose to actually participate in the hedge fund.
Yeah, I got a private message. Can you explain compounding? My understanding of compounding is to buy more tiers from the profits generated. Please clarify. So here we have auto compounding. We don't compound on a weekly or daily basis. Compounding is happening anytime our balance increases. So let's say there was a positive trade at 2 o'clock, right? So our balance increased. So the next trade will happen with the new balance. So, and that's why we see those handsome returns, 800% in 12 months, because our balance keeps compounding in real time, right? Not daily, not weekly, not monthly. Yeah.
There's nothing we need to do to make that happen. In the new model, will you be able to top up your initial contribution? Yes. So if you, let's say you migrated your funds from the current model into the hedge fund, you can add any new funds anytime you want. There's no tiers anymore. So if you wanted to add, $1,336 and then $10,533, you decide. There's no set amounts. You just decide to add any amounts. There may be some, as far as some minimum amounts for each time you add more funds, but we'll wait to. And there'll be a referral link for the new model as well, no different to what you have now. So I said the actual, as far as the genealogy, will stay the same unless you choose to join again. But I don't recommend that. And you withdraw the same as you do now. And that withdrawals are the same. You put your withdrawals in on the weekend. If you're doing Forex, they're paid by Monday. And if you're in crypto, you can withdraw any day. So nothing's changing in terms of the overall functionality. You can compound, you can withdraw, you get access to the same trading strategies. It's only the legal status of the funds and how much you can contribute in the new model.
Right. Yeah, and you can even get institutions join you, because institutions typically need some kind of reporting paperwork. They cannot just join a smart contract anonymously, right? They need some papers, right? So that will give you the opportunity to bring in businesses, right?
Yeah, there could be family offices. In other words, you might have a family office that looks after a family's large investment portfolio, and they might decide to put part of their funds into this, but they have to meet all the requirements, or a 401k, or a pension fund, or a superannuation fund. There's lots of things that can participate. Do you need, just on the achiever bonus, you need to be a Pacesetter Gold in order to receive the achiever bonus shares when you create new Pacesetters. So you might not be a Pacesetter yourself, but you won't actually enjoy the benefits of the shares until you become a Pacesetter as well.
Right. And here's an interesting fact: you can become Pacesetter leader without being Pacesetter.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's time to wrap up. Maybe we'll just take one more, if you guys have a good one for us. If you find an interesting one in the chat, Michael, just grab it.
Just telling us what a wonderful job we did. I think it's a pretty good job.
Can I ask you one more question, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's assume I'm at tier 4. I'm eligible to get a momentum pack, right? Yeah. Is that better? Let's say if I have $500, $600, is that better to go to the next tier? Is there any benefit to get the next tier, or get the momentum pack from tier 3 or 4?
Well, you can only get one momentum pack for tier 4 anyway. So if you've already got a momentum pack, so if you don't have a momentum pack and you wanted to upgrade, that's a decision. But if you get the momentum pack, 90% goes towards the testing and development fund, but you can only get one momentum pack for tier 3 and one for tier 4. You can get unlimited for tier 5 and above. So if you already had a tier 4 momentum pack and you wanted to add more funds, the only way to go is to either buy another tier 4 normal or upgrade to the next tier.
Oh, okay. I got it. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Also,
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi. I keep hearing you say that when we convert to the hedge fund, you can do one or the other. Is it possible to maintain both, the crowdfunding and establish the new hedge fund?
That's the reason why not.
Will it be possible?
Yes.
Yeah, you could basically leave existing funds in the current model and then put new funds into the hedge fund model, because they are separate. They're running in parallel, but they are separate.
Yep. I mean, some people prefer to stay anonymous, right? So they can stay in the old model. If you don't want to do the KYC, just stay in the old model.
Yeah. Well, Eugene, thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed today's session. It's been a pleasure working with you over the last couple of years now. And for everyone, thank you for taking time out of your evening and day or morning and joining us. And I'll let you wrap things up.
Yeah, I appreciate Michael for coming to the show. Really enjoyed doing it with you. So I think we had a good meeting. We had very good questions. So I will get back to you, Carlo. I saw your question. Let's take it offline. So yeah. So thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure.
Yeah, enjoy DAISY, everybody, and see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good day.
Bye.
Recording stop.